Today I'm going to be making a really yummy and super moist chocolate cake. You're going to love this one. So let's get on with the ingredients. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 eggs, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of unsalted butter, 1 cup of chocolate chips, and I am using Hershey's semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1 cup of sour cream, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and our last ingredient, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And a recipe note, if you're using salted butter, simply omit the salt in my recipe. So those are the ingredients, so let's get started. So for our first step, I'm going to get all of my butter in here, which I have just cubed up. And to that, all of my granulated white sugar. I'm going to grab my mixer, and our first step is to start creaming this all together. So once you see your butter and your sugar starting to cream like this, you can start adding in your eggs. So 1 egg. And you'll notice right away, as soon as you put in that first egg, the creaming process really starts happening a lot better, because that egg is actually adding a lot of moisture and it's breaking down everything and just combining everything together. So then we can just continue with the rest of our eggs. Egg number 3. And our last egg, egg number 4. And I'll get my vanilla in there. And all of my salt. And then we'll start adding in our flour and our other dry ingredients. So I got my flour here. I've got my baking powder and my baking soda. I'll grab a little fork and just stir that all together. And at this point you can pour this in just like that, or you can use a sieve, which I'm going to do now. I'll just get that in there and just shake that in. Grab our mixer again and just slowly start incorporating this. Our last thing that we have is our sour cream and our chocolate. I'm going to add my chocolate in now, so I will go get that. So I've got my chocolate here, and I microwave this using the defrost mode. And you don't want to over microwave, just microwave it until it melts. And use a spatula, because that just helps you get all of your chocolate out. That's good. And our last ingredient, our nice sour cream. Oh, that looks so good. We'll grab our mixer and mix all of this together. I wish you could smell this. It smells really good. Once that is well combined, we are ready to get this into our baking tin. These pans are 9 inches each. They are made by Wilton. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split this batter up between both of these pans. Okay, that looks about right. I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. I do have my oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I did take food spray. I sprayed both pans and then I dusted them with flour. So these are ready for my oven now, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to pop those in. I will come back later when they are fully baked and I'll let you know how long I baked them. So here are my beautiful cakes. I baked them for a total of 30 minutes at that 350 degrees. What I'm going to do now is just let these cool for about 15 minutes and then I'm going to remove them from the cake tins. So I'm going to unmold these now. A good indication that your cakes are baked is that the cake will actually pull away from your cake tin. We'll just get these out of here. There's one. Oh, these smell so good. Number two. Flip this one over. Oh, they smell really, really good. So my cakes have completely cooled right now, and if you find that you have something that we call a cake top, where you have a nice curvature to the cakes, what you usually want to do is cut those off so that they're nice and flat. My cakes today don't really have that, and if I'm going to start icing this, I'll put the icing here, and then I'll take this piece and I'll flip it upside down so that the top is perfectly flat. However, because I want to show you what these cakes look like inside, I am just going to slice off a little bit just so that they're nice and flat on the top. So we'll just take off a little bit just so that you can see. This cake recipe really produces a very, very moist cake. Hopefully the camera is picking up how nice this cake is. You can see if I look at how moist that is, it just bounces back at me. Really, really nice. And let's just do a little bit here to reveal the inside. So is this necessary at home? No. If you've got a pretty flat cake, you don't have to do this. But I'm just doing that for this video. So at home what you would do is you would just leave them, you know, as you saw me start with. Ice here, take this one and flip it upside down, that way you have a perfectly flat cake. So our next step, what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to use some beautiful chocolate mousse that I made in another video, and we're going to mousse this up, and then I'm going to put it together. And we're going to use a beautiful chocolate ganache at the end just to actually frost over the whole cake. So my cake is ready to go, and I've got some really, really nice chocolate mousse here, which I'm just going to get right on, because this is going to be for the middle. And I'll just get that on there like that. That smells so good. We'll just get that nice. So I'll just get a nice layer of my beautiful chocolate mousse on here. And then we're ready to top it with the other part of our cake. So here's the top part of my cake, and I'm just going to gently place that on the top and just give it a little push. And I want to make sure that that's nice, just like that. That looks good. I'm just going to clean up the edges here a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this into the fridge and chill this down. And then I'm going to be pouring on a beautiful top coating of rich chocolate ganache. So at this point, I'm going to take this and put this into my fridge. And you see this little device I'm using? I have an unboxing on my channel. This is a little Wilton cake lifter, and it really, really works well. This cake is a 9-inch cake. This thing here is 8 inches square, and you can see how easily I can just lift this whole cake up, just like that. So I'm going to get it onto a cutting board, and I'm going to pop this now into the fridge because I just want it to chill down, and I want to make sure that it's nice and straight, looks good. So there we go. So I'm going to pop this into my fridge. I'll come back later and we're going to frost this up with some beautiful chocolate ganache. So this is a few hours later. My cake has completely cooled down, and now we are ready for our last step. We are going to cover this cake with some beautiful rich chocolate ganache, which is right here. This is a mixture of heavy whipping cream and chocolate. I'm going to get this beautiful stuff, and we're just going to get that right on to the top of our cake. I have some parchment paper underneath that is going to catch any of my drippings, and that's always a good idea to have under there. You can use parchment paper or wax paper. Makes a very, very simple cleanup. And I'm just going to do a little circular motion. I'm just going to help the ganache out. just find its way. Once it goes over the edges, gravity will take over. I'm going to get a little bit more on here. I hope the camera is picking up how nice this is. You can't smell how nice this is, but it is amazing. So we've got that beautiful moist chocolate cake, then we have the chocolate mousse interior, and then chocolate ganache on the top. And what's nice is that when it gets onto your parchment paper or your wax paper, you can just take that and put it into the freezer and it'll just pop right off because it hardens right up. So what you want to do is just go around your cake, and anywhere that you see needs a little bit of a coverage, then just get it on there and just let it drip down. Oh, that looks so good. So that's basically it for this cake. So what I'm going to do at this point now is I'm just going to let all the excess chocolate drip off, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it into my fridge so that this chills down. Then later on I will cut it up and I'll show you what this beautiful cake looks like inside. So my cake is completely chilled now, and what I've done is I've taken some chocolate ganache, the same ganache that I put on here. I chilled it down really well for several hours, and then I fluffed it up with my mixer, and I've turned it into a beautiful, very thick ganache that I can actually pipe onto our cake. There we go. So that is done. So at this point I'm just going to let this chill down. I'll cut into a piece in a little while and I'll show you the final product. So I'm just going to pop this in the fridge just to let it chill a little bit. Okay, so I'm back and I'm ready to cut into this beautiful cake. And just get that on there. So there we have it, my chocolate mousse cake. So we've got a nice chocolate cake, we've got chocolate mousse in the middle, we have chocolate ganache over the top, and then a whipped chocolate ganache for the decoration on the top. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.